What is up, guys? This is Jeremy from JGN Root of the Droid Syndicate team, bringing you a Sprint Samsung Galaxy Nexus review. So, first thing we got going for us that you can see is this beautiful display. We got a 4.65-inch HD Super AMOLED, yep, you heard me, HD 1280 by 720 resolution touchscreen display. Now, this thing is a real powerhouse. The display on this is just amazing. I cannot emphasize how good the display is running Ice Cream Sandwich. So, yeah, this thing is running Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. The Galaxy Nexus is the first device to run Android 4.0. So you're definitely going to get that nice stock Android experience on this device. Now, to go along with the display in Android 4.0, you're going to have a 1.2 gigahertz processor right around here. Now, that is a TOMAP 4460. Now, I'm not big with numbers and stuff, but, you know, you got that. Now, with Android, you do have an app store. It's called Google Play. If you haven't heard of it, it hosts more than 500,000 apps, millions of songs, lots of books, movies. It pretty much has everything that you can think of. And there's lots of other stuff. It has a front-facing 1.3 megapixel camera that you can use for video chat, Google Plus Hangouts. And on the back, you got your nice 5 megapixel LED flash camera on the back. And it also does have near-field communication. Sprint's emphasizing this a lot. There's this new thing called Google Wallet. And with Google Wallet, what you do is if you're up at a cash register and the little debit card slot, it should say, it should have a little sticker, and once you place your phone on that, it should ask you to pay. Now, once you've activated Google Wallet, you can actually put credit on it, called Google Wallet Credits, and that's basically just a MasterCard debit. And so you can just pretty much slap that on, and it'll do a bunch of stuff. Now, Android Beam is obviously a nice feature of Android 4.0. You just hold this phone to another phone, pretend my other hand is the phone, and you can just share information. Now, there's lots of different Google integrated services with this. Google Search, Gmail, Google Maps, all your nice Google apps such as YouTube, Google Calendar, all that stuff. And, of course, you're going to have the 4G LTE that Sprint has introduced. Now, of course, you have Wi-Fi and GPS on this. And now we're just going to go on the sort of the more physical side and just into the phone. On the top, well, not on the top, actually on the bottom, you can see that you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, and you have your micro USB for charging or connecting to your computer. You have your Sprint backplate with Samsung down below, and your 5 megapixel camera with single LED flash. Pretty sure, yes, you have a 1850 milliamp hour lithium ion battery. Now that has been pretty good through the day so far, and I think it's great. The battery life on the Sprint variant is definitely a lot better than what you would think. Now, forgot to mention this in the display, but it does have a contour display, so you will see some curves in that display that lots of people will seem to be appealing. You have 32 gigabytes of internal memory, such as ROM, but you cannot have external SD. Once again, you cannot have external SD. Lots of people thought that you could, but you can't. 1 gigabyte of RAM and talk time of 7.5 hours. Now, this thing does not weigh that much, but it does have a pretty hefty weight to it, but it actually does sort of give feel to it. So that's another thing to look into if you're looking on weight size of the phone. Now that I've gone through pretty much all the specifications of the phone, we're just going to hop into the software. So this is running Android 4.0 Ice Cream Sandwich. Now, if you've seen an Android device, you're probably thinking, oh, okay, so you got your speaker, your front-facing camera, and what's down here? Now, this is running stock Android 4.0, and it's a Nexus device, so it's going to bring the latest software visuals to you. Now, there are no capacitive buttons. What you have now in Android 4.0 is on-screen buttons. And the first thing you get is this lock screen here. It should say your carrier name right down there, and your lock screen. You can either go left for camera or right to unlock. If you want to go to camera, you just go to camera and it'll launch your camera app. Now in the camera app, you can do lots of stuff. Android 4.0 has added a lot of new features. So just go to settings and you can see all the different features that you can do. You also have a nice zoom. And you have video, 1080p video recording, and your 5 megapixel camera quality, or you can just go straight to your gallery, and I really haven't taken any pictures in my gallery. But this is actually a panorama mode, so you have a nice panorama switch mode, and you can just sort of tilt from side to side once you enter in that panorama. Now as you can see, these little dots down here, you can actually press them, and those are your navigational buttons. So now if we lock the device, you can see that we have a boot off animation. And let's go ahead and swipe right to unlock this time. And you can see that we have navigational buttons down here. Back, home, and multitasking. Now multitasking is a really cool feature of Android 4.0 if you haven't noticed. But you can actually click on that and you can just drag to left or right to close out those apps. So let's say I just want to get rid of maps. I just drag to the right. Or left. I sort of dragged it to the left. Now the notification bar is actually pretty cool. You have a carrier symbol and a nice settings option up here with date and your time up here. You have a battery icon, your signal, and a Wi-Fi little thing. Let's go ahead and turn off Wi-Fi. We're going to test out the 3G speeds on Sprint's new network. Not really new network. They actually haven't launched their 4G LTE network yet. I do not know the specifications of where those cities are located, but I do know it's more around the central region of the United States. So let's go ahead and hop into the browser, and the browser is actually reasonably fast. Go ahead and load up Techno Buffalo here, and you can see that was pretty fast just on standard 3G. Now the keyboard on this phone is probably hands down the best keyboard I have ever used. And now this keyboard, I don't know what's so good about it. The vibration just feels so fluid, it's so snappy and speedy, and I don't know, there's just something about it that just really makes it great. And I can type pretty much flawlessly on it. So if I just want to type in Engadget, I can just go to Engadget right there, and it loads up, yep, that's right, that fast. It loads up pretty fast for this phone. The TOMAP processor in it does a really good job. Not as fast as the Exynos processor, but we'll get into that later. So now that we're home, if you want to save battery life, you can just press the multitasking button, and you can just swipe to the left to get rid of that. Now what you do have are folders. Now it's really easy to put stuff into folders. What you do is you just get an app, and you move it over to another app, and it'll just show you that little circle icon. Now once you put it in there, it'll have this really nice animation there, and then you can see that it says unnamed folder. You just click on unnamed folder, and then you can rename it. Now let's say you didn't really mean to do that, so you can just hold down on YouTube, for instance, go out here, and put it right back out. Settings, if you go into settings, you have lots of toggles, sound, battery, apps. A new thing that they added into is data usage, so you can take a look at your data usage if you want to. Now I'm on Sprint, of course. This is a Sprint Galaxy Nexus, so I have unlimited data, and I don't really have to worry about that. Android version 4.0.4, that is supposed to help with Signal. As I said, Signal is very good on this. If we just want to tap on Android version, you can see that we got our Nyan droid, and we can just keep on holding down, and it'll give us flying droids in the Galaxy. Now let's say you just want to get rid of that, you can just go home, and you don't have to worry about that. Now these widgets, this widget is actually a beautiful widget, so disregard, but the power control widget you will have, and I will actually go through some widgets later. Now you originally have 5 home screens, but I am running Nova Launcher, which is a home replacement app, which I can customize my home screens. So you can see that the app drawer is sort of different. You have sort of a card stack animation, and you have your widgets up here, which you can control your widgets from. So this was a Sprint Samsung Galaxy Nexus review. I will have photos at the end of this video. And yeah guys, thanks for watching, and feel free to subscribe, rate, comment for more. And yeah, guys, overall, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya later.